Ladies and gentlemen, Abe's hand.
Abe on camera?
Abe's hand on camera.
No, I'm not shaking it. Hold on. They're very salty hands, just so
Really?
you know.
Do
Bend
You had
these
sushi?
fingers. Bend these fingers.
The icon Terry Runnels. How are you?
I love the 2 claps. So one day, this anchor came in. Her name was Susan Lasovich. I love you to this day, Susan. And so I'm washing her hair in one of the basins, and I'm like, who's in charge of makeup at CNN? And she's like, oh, her name's Ramona Horton. I didn't say this to her, but this is what I thought. I'm like, great bitch. Thank you so much. I got this from here on out. Enjoy your shampoo. So, ringy dingy dingy. Not a cell phone. Ringy dingy dingy. Ramona Horton. Yes, this is she. Hi, this is Terry Boatwright. I would love to get an interview with you. She's like, I'm sorry, we're not hiring. Thank you, goodbye. Ooh. Well, that happened maybe 25 times in 1 month. Bitch is on it, right? She's like, I ain't gonna take no for an answer. Finally, she goes, oh my God, just come in for an interview. I'm like, we could have solved that 3 weeks ago if you would have just said those words, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I get in there, and she's like very, very harsh with me. She's like, this is Patrick Greenlaw. He's going on air right now. Do his makeup. You got 60 seconds. Do it. I jumped. I did my thing. He went out to the studio. She said, you're hired.
Nice.
That's how I got my job at CNN. And then from working for CNN, because I was the low man on the totem pole, I did makeup for wrestling on the weekends. And then one thing led to another, and Ole Anderson wanted me to be this character. I had nothing to do with the character except for her name, which I thought Alexandra York sounded very snotty and very foo-foo-y, and so that was the only thing I had to do with that character, other than being her. I did not create her, so, but yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Oliver Stone.
You ready for that one?
Why not? You think I'll remember 20 minutes from now?
I know, but I'm going to be very loquacious when I start into this.
Loquacious. Abe! You got a thesaurus on you?
Loquacious. Can you
The
help them
hell
out?
is loquacious?
Quickly.
Abe, seriously, can you help them out?
Come on, Abe. Look up the word. I dare you. He doesn't even know how to spell it, I'll bet you. Loquacious.
No, I want...
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Loquacious. Tending to talk a great deal.
Oh.
Talkative.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
So are you trying to say that my wife is loquacious?
Oh, Jesus.
She and I both
do you
are.
want to go home tonight? What are you doing? Oh,
She and I both are very loquacious.
You are.
Wow.
You're like twins.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's
It's clear to say that you don't read
Grappler. Not at the crayons in the
because in
coloring
page
books
two,
either, I guess.
in page 2 it says
What?
the cat is blue.
Meow. No. I don't think so. Todd is God. This is kind of simple, too. To tell you the truth.
So I've moved to Washington, D.C. I'm going to give a little Larry King prior to Oliver because it's all in the same story.
Okay.
CNN, again, I was there when it was in its inception. And then they needed me in Washington, D.C. Well, that was where Larry did his show.
Okay.
So I actually had to go into the studios at 5 in the morning there, do the anchors. They had no other anchors or anybody else during the day, so I would immediately go home, and then at nighttime I would go back in to do Larry King and any of his guests that he had, right? And so So my first night there, I think it was hold on, it was one of those funky preachers. Hold on, Oral Roberts.
Oh,
Oral
okay.
Roberts. So Oral is the guest, and Larry is the host, and so I go in to do a touch up on Larry, and he says, "How do you think I look?"
Jesus Christ.
Like a mummy with spectacles.
And I said one word. I said healthy, because I was trying to come up with something
Healthy?
that wouldn't be offensive.
You look
Because the guy
healthy.
looked pasty as and like he was on his last leg. And
Even then.
And the only
This is
word
years
I
ago.
came up with, because I was brand new. This was like my first or second
Healthy.
night. I was like, "You look healthy."
Oh boy.
And later on, I learned that
boy.
everybody in the control room fell out of their chairs
I would've.
and were like
Yeah.
just dying.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You
So
look
after
healthy.
that, I would do his makeup every night during the week, every night, and then he would be trying to eat when I was doing his makeup, and I'd be like moving like chicken fried rice off just so I could like finish his makeup and stuff. But one of the funniest things that ever happened to me with him. So when you're in a TV studio, as we are, there are edit bays, right? Edit bays, edit bays, edit bays, edit bays. And so he came in very late for the show. And so they're like, "He's in edit bay 6. Go do his makeup." So I run down, because everything's live, right? I run down, and I'm trying to do his makeup, and he goes, "This is so sick." So I go in there, and I'm doing his makeup, and he's like, "Terry, I'm sexy tired."
What'd he say?
Exactly. That's why I said it quietly, because that's what I thought was like, what the f-? He said, "Terry, I'm sexy tired." And I
Ew.
said, "What in the f does
don't
that
feel well.
mean?"
I'm not
And
liking
he
that.
said, "I feel sexy, but I'm tired. F me 20 days to Sunday."
So the moment has finally arrived that you knew eventually was going to come,
It
I'm
was
assuming.
rotten and
Ew.
gross.
It is now here.
But the last one was when Ted Turner wanted to do the Goodwill Games. I called Larry at his house, and I said, "Lair, I really want to be the key makeup artist on for these games." He goes, "I just had a dream about you on a train."
Oh God.
Wait.
Thank God I
And
didn't eat before I came here.
He's like, "If you'll take care of me, I'll take care of you."
Wow.
And I literally said to him, "Dude, off, clink," and that was like way before cell phones, and so
Wow.
yeah. So that's my Larry King story.
So that's the end of Larry King. Off to wrestling we go. Very nice.
They recently had that Dusty Rhodes documentary. Mm-hmm. And this is how I felt. I don't know if anybody else felt that way. I'm just going to ask you the question. They seem to kind of put up or present it that the falling out between Dustin and Dusty were over you. Is that accurate, and can you elaborate on it?
Yes and no. So the way this story goes and what happened actually is, I was in wrestling before Dustin was. Most people think I got my position based upon me dating Dustin. I was in that way before he was. Even though his dad was in it, it was a likely, thing for him to progress to. He was still a little young punk in Texas and was not a part of it when I broke in the business. The way we started was I was out in Phoenix, and I was the makeup artist. I was not yet Alexandra York. I don't think I was. Anyway, but Tony Schiavone, I forget who all was in the van that was like an extended van with extra people, like not a small one. And I had been on the deck of the Hilton Phoenix drinking with Dusty and Janie. In the background is the hills of Phoenix, beautiful, like pink and blue color, just beautiful. And Dustin pulls up in a cab with his golf clubs, and he gets out and he comes over, and I don't know what happened in me, but all of a sudden I was just like, he's kind of cute. He is kind of cute. So that night, like just a few hours later, he was in the van with us. We went to go eat, and he said, I'm going to blow this pop stand basically and, go hang with the boys. And I said, no, you're not. You're going to stay here with me, and we're going to, have a great night. So he stayed in the van with me, and then when we came back, the first and only time I've ever had tequila was that night. And I forget how many shots of tequila I took, but I do remember this. He got me to my room. He put me under the covers. He was very kind, very gracious. He did not do anything inappropriate. And the next morning, I remember calling him and saying, I need toothpaste, because I couldn't find mine. And he brought it down. And then we fly back home from Phoenix to Atlanta. And he sends me this piece of paper through several people. Like, can you pass that down, pass it down. So I finally get this little document, and it says, will you go out with me on a lunch date? And so I wrote back, nope, unless you ask me personally. Hold up, send back. So he asked me out properly. Will you go to lunch with me? The day that we landed, we went to lunch together. He said, would you go to dinner with me tonight? I said, I will. Second day, lunch. Second day, dinner. Third day, he just moved in with me.
Mm.
So, yeah, so it was like a very, I mean, Dustin has grown into his skin because he's so amazing and precious and wonderful. But back then, he was just a very insecure, like I was just telling someone about, like, Barry Windham saying, yeah, she fucked all the boys. You. If I did that, I'll grant it to you. I'll give it to you on a silver platter. The night that I told Dustin I'm done was he came home because I didn't do TVs at all. So he came back and he said, oh my God. I told him at the beginning when we started dating who I'd been with.
Right.
And I wanted to be very honest and upfront, and this is who. And he came to my house and he goes, I can't believe you didn't tell me that you Jake the Snake Roberts. I said, are you fucking kidding me? He goes, no. They told me you. I said, not only haven't I not Jake the Snake Roberts, I've never even met him in the flesh. I've never shaken his hand. I've never looked in his eyeballs. Nothing. So you got a choice to make right here and now. Do you want to believe all this bullshit that the boys are trying to fuck you over with and rib you with, or do you want to believe me? He was like, okay, I believe you. And it was so many years later before I ever even met Jake the Snake. But that just told me where Dustin's mindset and like the levels in which he was. So I think he's much wiser now. But either you trust what I've told you and whom I've been with, or you trust the boys that are.
So do you think Dusty, who trusted the boys, was like, Dustin, what are you doing with this woman?
So we're in the Austin, Texas airport. He's brought me to meet his mom. Of course, I've already met Dusty because I'm in the business. And we had a great time. Like, it was a great visit. It was wonderful. Dustin's mom just passed in the last year, which is terrible, but she was always so funny and sweet and whatever. But we go to the airport in Austin to fly back to Atlanta. And Dustin doesn't hear this, but I do. Dustin Runnels, please go to the nearest, I don't know, what do you call the gimmicks? Like, a hotel, not a hotel, an airport.
Like a
Like a phone where,
Yeah.
where somebody needs to tell you they're there or whatever.
like an intercom.
Yeah, anyway. So I'm like, Dustin, I think they just said your name. He's like, what? I'm like, dude, I think that they just said your name. Like, go find a phone and tell them, you're here. The minute he came back, he answered the phone. He had a conversation. The minute he came back, he looked at me. He goes, don't talk to me. I said, excuse me? Don't say a fucking word to me. I cried from Austin to Atlanta. And he said to me, he goes, my dad told me you're after my money. And the irony is, at that moment, he had not even paid an ounce of taxes. I owed no one anything. I had money in the bank. He didn't have fuck all. But yet, his dad told him, she's out for your money. So, I'm not one to back down. And, I just said, Dusty, you fucked up. You said and done the wrong thing. And, I'm here to help your son, not hurt him. But, yeah, that was, and there's a way bigger story to that as well. But, yeah.
But you confronted Dusty and said,
Oh, I
This
didn't
is
have
a-
a
this is a
problem
problem.
with Dusty.
Wow, look at
yeah.
you.
I
Nice.
was like, dude, I love your son. I love your son with all of my heart. I am not trying to hurt him. I'm trying to help him.
right.
And don't you dare. And then, then he said, because I was good friends with Stan Kasten, who was the first person to ever be a manager of the Atlanta Hawks, Braves, and Thrashers. First person ever to do that. Stanley and I were great friends. And so Dusty said to Dustin, she's Stan Kasten. Another one, yeah. And I was just like, dude, you got to pick, because I can't keep doing this. I told you who I was with. I told you my history. And if you don't believe me, I need you to go.
So Dustin chose you.
Yes, until I didn't choose him.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Did you ever make peace with Dusty, or was it just basically like, go F yourself, or,
No,
permanently?
no.
Or?
I really appreciated the grandfather that he was to Dakota. Dustin's character was this old school actor. Remember at the beginning, he was an actor and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And which I just found not plausible. So this is maybe 3 months after Dustin signs with Vince to do
Okay.
Gold Dust. And I came up with this idea to have this old school, very elegant, old school actress. I would smoke a cigar because I smoke cigars in real life. So I thought, great write-off tax-wise.
You get some free cigars. Nice.
I was like,
pretty smart.
So every single thing that there has been about Marlena was me. Everything that has been about Alexander York was not me, except for her name. So, but anyway, so yeah, I was in the tanning bed in our basement. Dakota's like a year and a half old. And, I don't know why. I just started like reciting stories in my brain and, they need this, they haven't done that, they haven't done that. And so I called Dustin, and I'm like, dude, like, this is my idea. What do you think of it? And, like, at the time, Dakota's like a year and a half old. I don't want to go on the road, but it was just something that compelled me to think about what they were missing. So I told it to Dustin on the phone. He was on the road, and he's like, I love it. I said, okay, call Vince and, like, let me know what happens. Well, Dustin was scared to death to call anyone in any kind of hierarchy above him. He goes, no. If you want to do this, you're going to call Vince yourself. I was like, I don't have a problem calling Vince. I don't give. Vince called.
Love the phone.
All of a sudden, Pat Patterson answers.
Uh-oh.
And I said, Pat, it's Terry. And, I just came up with an idea that Dustin wanted me to express to Vince. And Pat goes, thank you very, very much. We're not interested. And clink. I'm like, dude,
Really?
Yeah. But I was like cool with that because I was like, it was just an idea that I'd had, like laying in the tanning bed, like no big deal, nothing. I mean, I was
Was
happy.
it honestly that quick? We're not into it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But I was
Not
happy
surprised.
being a mom, and I didn't need anything else, So I was fine. I was done. That was
Okay.
good. Whatever. And so then in what year? 95. I was at my grandparents' farm. I'm wearing overalls. Dakota's wearing overalls. Like, Santa's coming tomorrow morning. Dad's not here, but Santa's coming and whatever. And all of a sudden, Dustin called me. He goes, what are you doing? And I said, I'm here at Granny's house. He goes, pack your bags. They want to do your idea. Which still to this day gives me chills because every single thing that you see about Marlena was here. Nobody else ever. As much as I love Pritchard, I swear to God, I heard one of his like 7-hour podcasts on Dustin. He's like, yeah, Vince created Marlena. Vince didn't create all of Marlena. No. He might have created his own beautiful dick to someone else, but he didn't create Marlena to me. And I love Vince, and I always will because he's been good to me. But, yeah. So, did I just get nasty? I think I
You got a little
Yeah.
nasty.
a little wee bit.
That's
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, was Vince pleased? Obviously, Vince was pleased.
So here was my thing. When I went to the ring, I said to him, either I'm going to carry a glass of wine or I'm going to carry a cigar. And he said, go with the cigar. But don't light it early. Light it right before you're at a gorilla.
Wow. Nice.
And then that showed up on Cigar Aficionado.
There you go.
I'm like, bitch, you didn't want me to light the cigar until right before I went out on Gorilla, but yet now you're on. Say what? Anyway.
All of Vince's issues that he had recently, he's had a great life, obviously.
Yes.
Were you surprised by that?
Yes.
Really?
Really? Okay.
I'll tell you why. He's always been very common sense, functional, like not like
Right.
Not like Larry King.
not like thank you. Very, very
Nailed it.
good like interlude into that conversation. Thank you. But like he just has never done that to me.
Never saw signs of it
No,
in the locker
and the
room.
weird. I'll give you another weird
Okay.
scenario. Jerry Lawler, hornier and up more than anyone I know, has never ever made me feel uncomfortable in his presence. On the day that happened, where she left Paul, she believed with every ounce of her being that she was going to be his wife. And she was going to be the top dog in our business. And then in one fell swoop, she found out that he was Stephanie. And her world went from 100% everything's going to be great going forward to holy what do I do?
Shattered.
And I will never forget we
Shattered.
were in a locker room together, just she and I. I said, "What the And she said to me, she goes, yeah, he's been fucking Stephanie. And I told Vince I was going to fucking kill her.
Really?
Yeah. And she goes, that's why I don't have a job anymore.